Alright guys, and welcome back. So let's begin the work with getting the UE4 Mannequin character inside MotionBuilder and characterize him. And we just take a look at this to-do list I made in the last video. We need this because we want to start working with the animations inside MotionBuilder. And in order to do that, we need to take a few steps before we do that. And the next few videos is also going to be illustrating some of the problems that this process is going to have. So inside Unreal Engine, what I want to do first is take my SK Atom skeleton, which is basically just my UE4 skeleton renamed, and export that. So I created a folder for this. I'm just going to export that. And if we open that up inside MotionBuilder, just hit open, and that is going to bring us this guy in. So if we check what we get inside our scene, inside the navigator, we can expand this and see we get this node called SK Atom. Which I think is, if you select properties here, you can, don't think it has anything. I'm not really sure what it is. It says, well, basically doesn't really say anything. So I'm not entirely sure what it is. Anyway, I'm just gonna ignore that for now. But this is the skeleton, which has all these joints, and this is the mesh itself. So since the mesh is kind of taking up the space, so I can't really see my joints, I'm gonna click the mesh and right-click it, say group, and that's gonna create this group over here, which I conveniently can click like this to hide the mesh, and then just check it again if I want to see it. So with that, I want to focus in on the upper arm here. You will notice something peculiar with the shoulder, or the upper arm here. So we have two joints on top of each other, and it's actually kind of interesting on the other one, because yeah, it seems like they're kind of rotated. Maybe it's just me looking at it from a weird angle. Okay, anyway, doesn't seem to matter. Anyway, if you click the actual bone here, you will get the upper arm, but if you click this one, you will get the upper arm twist joint. And it's worth mentioning because I kept clicking up here, and sometimes I would get this twist joint, and once I tried to rotate this, nothing would happen with the arm. I was kind of puzzled what that was about, until I noticed that we have two joints here. So a way to actually to get around this, if you want to select the right bone, is to click here. So the first thing we want to do in order to characterize this guy here is to get him into a T-pose, and I'm going to use the rotate tool here, which I can access by pressing E as well. So I'm going to press W to switch to the translate if I need it, and E to switch to the rotate tool. And I'm going to turn on this snap rotation, and that's going to snap to 5 degrees. And if you don't have 5 degrees, you can go into preferences and enter a rotation snap angle here to 5 and hit OK. And that's going to add this one, so you can select it. By default, it's only going to be 10, I think. Let's go into the front view first. So Control F to go into front view, and then zoom in here a little bit. And I want to straighten up the arm here, so swing that up like that, and also swing that one up. And I think there's a way to multi-select joints, and then I think you can shift select. Oops, shift select. Well, that's gonna move them in the opposite direction. I'm pretty sure I saw somebody mirror this. How did they do that? Anyway, if somebody watching this knows it, please post a comment on the channel, because as you can see, I'm pretty new to MotionBuilder anyway. So just gonna straighten up the hands a little bit, and I think that was the arms. And I'm not gonna touch the legs really, although they are kind of a little bit to the sides. So if I switch to the top view, so Control T, I'm just gonna swing the arm in one tick, 5 degrees, and then straighten out the arm, and this one as well. So I think if we switch back to producer view by pressing Control E, we should have something pretty close to a T-pose. So now we can hit the skeleton key here, and I'm gonna click define, and now we need to map up the joints here. So double click the hip, that's the fastest way I found to do this, and then work your way through the spine here. And if you want to get rid of this rotation gimbal, just click this one, and then go into the spine view and map up this one. And go out here and go to the neck view where we only have one neck joint. So out again, and then define the head. And then we go into the left shoulder. And notice when I do the arms and legs and the shoulder, I have mirror matching on. So when I click to the left shoulder and click the one in here, it's going to switch to the right and show that we already defined that as well. So click the left arm, right arm, or the lower arm, sorry, and the hand. And from here, you can see we're getting the right arm filled out automatically. So here, from here on, I want to switch to the hands view, and want to mention that it's mirrored in here. So this is the left side now, and since this is the left, as you can see, this is his left hand we're looking at. So I'm going to press Control T to switch to top view and focus in on the hand. Whoops. And then I'm going to define all the slightly wider joints here. I'm going to define, so double click. This process of mapping is pretty easy once you get used to it. At first I was kind of intimidated by all these graphical gadgets I had to look at, but once you get past that point, it's pretty quick to map these up, and at least way faster than doing it inside the retarget manager inside Unreal. So that was actually the hands. So Control E, go back again out here in producer view, and now we want to map up the legs. So just take the left leg and the lower leg and the foot. So one thing interesting here is if I click this one, it's going to pick the IK joint, and that's not the one I want, this IK foot L joint here. So what I want to do instead is to expand the thigh and the calf and the here I can select the foot, so we'll click that one. So that's going to give me the right joint. So also while I'm at it, take the reference and select the root here. So all we miss now is the feet. So the left toe base is here. Again, it's mirrored. So I double click the left toe base, and for that I want to pick the ball. And for some reason it doesn't pick the right one automatically, so I need to do that by hand. So expand that one to the ball. So that's actually all we need to do. So now I can go ahead and lock my character. So that is going to say biped. And that's actually what I want to show in this video. So what we got now here is a character, which is characterized by, we can see that by this check mark, and that allows us to bring in animations now. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to save this as SK atom and call this MotionBuilder template. Give it a name here. And I suggest you do something similar, and every time you make a change to this of any importance, give it a new name in case you make a mistake. Actually, one thing I want to do here is we got this T-pose take now we are on. Actually, we're going to rename that one so I can tell it apart from the other ones. So I'm going to call this T-pose under takes. So it's going to change the name here. So I can see I'm under the T-pose now. So go ahead and save that again. So we have the basis here to work with inside MotionBuilder. In the next video we are gonna take a look at the animations. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next. Bye bye.